Hey everyone. So I have created a place to make some videos inside in winter, and really it's not so much the temperature that has driven me inside, it's honestly the light. So since we're in a new space, I thought why not try out a new kind of video. This is going to be a 10-minute Q&A. How many questions of yours can I answer in 10 minutes? So here we go. Erin, if it were borers, wouldn't you see evidence inside the wood, i.e. their tunnels? Yes, absolutely. Well, I think you would anyway. This is what made me sort of halfway through that video start realizing when while I was making the video, really decided like this was borers. Then as I was editing the video, I went, I really am not sure if this is borers, because when I cut that big branch off, you know, you would expect to see some tunneling damage around the edges. I don't think go way in there. So that's sort of where I started having the mind shift. But then later on, I did see, definitely some insect, activity right on that crown, right basically just slightly below the soil level. So that's when I got really confused about what this might be. And in fact, one of the links in the bottom of that video, I think it goes to Clemson. They had a situation where the same viburnum had both viburnum borers and Bottisphaeria. We're going to work real hard at pronouncing that word, canker. And what they say in the article is they believe the canker came as a result of stress from the viburnum borers. So maybe I have both. I used to get so much borer damage, mainly because I was pruning during warm weather when the plant wasn't dormant. If you prune during cold weather, all the insects are away and you can safely prune. Absolutely, this is a fabulous point. Viburnums, first of all, shouldn't be pruned, generally speaking. And if they are pruned, you should prune them when they're dormant. This person is 100% right on that. I never pruned this viburnum. I only cut out dead wood, and you can cut out dead wood out of a tree or a shrub any time of the year. There's no reason to wait for a certain time. So I actually never did prune this other than to get out dead wood. Do you have trouble with deer eating your viburnums? I just planted a couple this past summer and noticed deer damage pretty soon thereafter, so I've been spraying them. Dang deer. Yes, isn't that what we always say is dang deer, because they're problematic. I don't actually have issues with deer on viburnums, which is one of the many reasons why I really like viburnums. But I do think that any new plant you bring into your yard is always going to be susceptible to deer damage. I don't know if they're like, yay, it's new, let's try it out, or because it's just actively growing so much and it's all this new flush of growth that the deer want to get in there. But generally speaking, I try to protect newly planted shrubs for like the first year that they're in the ground at least. Probably I should do it longer than that, but we do the best we can. I wonder if you poured a bunch of vinegar in the hole around where the bush was, if it would kill the borers, or maybe even some bleach. That kills stuff, right? I'm bringing up this question because because a couple of people said the same thing. And I think this is where our brains go to all the time. I think our brains think pesticides are bad, so I'm going to use a household product such as bleach or hydrogen peroxide or vinegar. And the fact of the matter is that all of those things can be, less so with hydrogen peroxide, but all of those things, bleach and vinegar, can be equally as damaging both to insects as well as your plant as anything you might buy that's labeled for it. So, we know exactly how to fix viburnum borers. It's well established that treatment for viburnum borers is a preventative treatment. It's permethrin, it's permethrin, not pymethrin, which I think is different. Permethrin. Applied to the bottom 18 inches right from the crown, up 18 inches at the right time, which for me is about mid-June. And then if needed, a second application about 2 weeks later. Your area might vary a little bit on that, so do check a local source on timing for that. And that's how you deal with viburnum borers. So we know the solution. Permethrin is like any pesticide. There are absolutely dangers to it, and you wouldn't want to use it if you didn't really have to, but it's not something that's super terrible. So we know exactly what it is. We have no idea. Bleach and vinegar and hydrogen peroxide, again, less so, can all harm your plant and your soil. So we know exactly how to fix this. We don't need to go looking for home remedies that aren't any safer than what is already out there, as long as you, and this is my big asterisk, with any herbicide or pesticide, which of course I and everybody else tries to avoid using at all costs. Although maybe if that cost is you have a plant or you don't have a plant, you have to decide, is it worth it or not? That's a different discussion that we clearly don't have time for in a 10-minute Q&A. Just follow the label exactly. You read the whole label and you follow it to the letter. It is worth taking the extra steps to have soil tested too. Verticillium is in the soil, so no matter what you replace the plant with, you're doomed if not taken care of. Bottispharia is not deadly. Excellent points on both points here. So I don't believe this is verticillium wilt. I was just sort of pointing that out because there are some similarities in terms of wood color. And the reason I don't think this is verticillium wilt is because I have actually had other viburnums tested before by the plant diagnostics clinic. Now, that's not to say it couldn't be. I'm just saying I don't think that's probably what's going on here. And I have had another viburnum that I thought died of verticillium wilt or was dealing with verticillium wilt. And I did send soil, plant tests, the whole thing. I worked with the plant diagnostics lab on that one, and they came back and they said, it's not, it's Bottispharia. So that's what it was. This is, I don't know, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, more, so a long time ago. So there is that. I have had verticillium wilt, and the key thing if you have verticillium wilt is that one day your plant will look great, and the next day, I mean, out of the blue, this is not gradual, it will be a branch will be fully wilted. And so you'll think it needs water, and then you add water, and that makes it worse. And then within days, the whole thing is gone. Those are kind of the hallmarks of verticillium wilt. I've dealt with it on a redbud and on elderberries before. So yes, excellent points in both cases. I don't believe it's verticillium wilt, and I'm probably not going to take that step of getting the soil tested, although it's an excellent point and maybe I should. Could drought have been the stress? 100%. I think most of the time, drought is the stress. I think that's the #1 stressor that our plants deal with. We have had, last summer wasn't bad. Summer before was super dry and really tough on the plants. I had a lot of damage that we're still seeing because drought stress you see, even if you probably won't see it right away, you see it down the road. Someone says, just curious if there's something like milky spore that you could use to kill the bug underground. She saw Yulia talk about this for Japanese beetles. That's Yulia at Y Garden. There might be something like a nematode. That's basically what milky spore is. I don't know, and I haven't really looked into it. And I didn't look into it because, you know, I can also, it's not a persistent problem. It's only at the base of a viburnum. And I wouldn't want to treat for something that I didn't know for sure I don't even know that there is such a thing. So, it's probably not something I would do, but it's probably worth looking into just to know what your options are. As for milky spore for Japanese beetles, I'm just going to go off on this just a little bit. We should do more of a video on this, but unless your whole neighborhood or your neighbors at least are treating with milky spore for Japanese beetles, or if you have a very, very, very large property, it's not really going to make a difference in your Japanese beetles. Japanese beetles travel many miles. I know it's at least 3. I actually think it might be like, it's a huge distance. So, and they will come. They will come from everywhere. And once one comes, they all come because it's a pheromone thing. So milky spore might have a temporary effect on your Japanese beetle population. But if your neighbors aren't doing it, then you're not going to ever solve that problem. This is from a different video a while back. Give it up with the sunglasses. It's not a good look. I'm only including that one to tell you, I know it's not a good look, you guys. I know I have ugly sunglasses. I also have a genetic predisposition to some pretty bad eye diseases, so I go out of my way to take very good care of my eyes, which means I buy very good sunglasses, but I only buy one pair because they're expensive, and then I take really good care of those sunglasses. So the sunglasses that I have are really meant mostly for being on the water, and because that's where I'm really worried about it. And so when I wear sunglasses, on the rare occasion I wear sunglasses in a video, it's the same pair of sunglasses, and I know they look ridiculous. It's okay. This is in regard to a post that I put in the community area of YouTube, because what I'm trying to do here is Invite people to send me a postcard this year if they go to a garden and visit it. Now, this could be a botanical garden, a public garden. This could be a neighbor's garden, an open garden through Conservancy Days, whatever. Drop me a little postcard. Let me know what the best thing you saw there is, or the most inspirational thing, or the plant that caught your eye the most, or whatever it is. And then I'm going to share these here with people, because that way we all get to enjoy this. And now that everyone's actually able to get out and see gardens a little bit more now, I thought it would be fun. Here's the question. Only snail mail, or do you want digital as well? I only really want snail mail right now, and I'll tell you why. Digital is going to, first of all, snail mail will be fun. I want to show people the postcards, and there's just something about that. Digital will turn into a nightmare for sure. So maybe if I can figure out some way to do that down the road, but I'm talking about like a long-term ongoing project here, not like a one and done thing. So whenever you go for this whole year or whatever, send me a postcard. Put the address in the description below, and let me know what the best thing you saw it was. And yeah, a postcard or a letter, whatever, if that's easier, I don't care. But let's do snail mail. All right, so I blew the timer out of the water, but I didn't do too bad. I mean, I made it through, and we were talking a little fast, but I wanted to get to some more things. Maybe next time I'll try to slow it down a little and answer fewer questions. My goal here is not to turn this into the only way that I respond to questions. I still want to reply to questions and comments in the comments below a video, and I'm still going to make it a point to do that as much as I'm able to. But I thought hopefully in the future we'll get kind of a more varied array of questions rather than having most of them be from one video. So to that end, leave me your questions about whatever. We'll see if I regret saying that in the comments below, and we'll work on doing that in another video like this. Hopefully what we can do is make this more of a regular thing, and that way we won't get this big backlog, and we'll keep it fun and interesting and light with a variety of questions, not all of them about viburnum diseases. All right, let me know what you think about it. Thank you for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.